are listening to the most original talk radio station anywhere. We are LA Talk Radio at latalkradio.com.
You're listening to Oscar's Guitar Shop with Oscar Jordan, right here on LA Talk Radio.
Rule number 1 for surviving Zombieland: cardio. When the virus struck, for obvious reasons, the first ones to go were the fatties.
Greetings and salutations. Welcome to another episode of Oscar's Guitar Shop. I'm Vintage Guitar Magazine contributing writer Oscar Jordan, and I am burdened with glorious purpose. Yes, I am. I've got an exciting show lined up for you peoples out there. It is full of unadulterated funk, wholesale blues, and retail soul. Strap in. Put in your mouth guard. Put it in. Put in that mouth guard. You're going to need it. And hang on for dear life, ladies and gentlemen, because the blues police have breached the outer citadel. Yes, they have. Get ready. Prepare for the onslaught. Hey, I'd like to give a shout out to K.L. Jackson, Benjamin Harrison, and Carl Clark for showing their financial support to Oscar's Guitar Shop. You're all getting autographed copies of Steely Dan guitarist John Harrington's album, Time on My Hands. It's a great album. I played a bunch of it last week. Well, you're getting an autographed copy because you guys are helpers. You are helping me, help me, giving me money, keeping the show running, and I thank you so much. If you'd like to support Oscar's Guitar Shop, go to oscarsguitarshop.com. Click donations to the show. Donate $30 or more and be entered to win a 1-year subscription to Music Connection magazine and an Omega Drive 16 overdrive pedal. Do it and win. Want to become a sponsor? Well, I'll tell you how. Email me at oscarsguitarshop@gmail.com. Oscar's Guitar Shop is powered by Music Connection magazine, forming music people, industry professionals, and support services since 1977. Visit them at musicconnection.com. Also, True Tone Music. Visit them at truetonemusic.com, making your music come to life. And last but not least, Mojave Ampworks. Visit the Oasis of Tone at mojaveampworks.com. Find out what Peter Frampton, Billy Gibbons, and George Lynch are talking about. mojaveampworks.com. And now it is time.
Baby, and I finally found my old blue jeans. I done run into my baby, and I finally found my old blue jeans. And I can tell they were mine from the on. And the gasoline. If I ever get back my old blue jeans, Lord, I'm happy. What a white man be. If I ever get back my old blue jeans, Lord, I'm happy. One man be. Because if I get back those blue jeans, I know my baby be bringing them on home to me. If I ever get back my blue jeans, Lord, I'm happy. What one man be. If I ever get back my old blue jeans, how happy could a one man be? Cause if I get back my blue jeans, I know my baby.
Melvin Taylor was born in Mississippi, but he's a Chicago icon and blues guitarist through and through. He grew up around some of the finest blues players in the world, and you can hear it in every note. He was turning heads on Maxwell Street at a very young age and was recruited by the great Pine Top Perkins for a tour in Europe with the legendary blues band. Since then, he's been cranking out one sizzling record after the next, melding traditional Chicago blues with jazz and a fiery rock intensity. Bang That Bell, Dirty Pool, Melvin Taylor and the Slack Band, and Rendezvous with the Blues are just the tip of the iceberg. Live on stage is where he really thrives, as he will blow your goddamn mind with an eclectic arsenal of funk, shred, blues, and jazz, sometimes all within the same solo. His current release, Tailor Made, is a blues jazz tour de force full of soul and inspiring guitar playing. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my great pleasure to introduce to you Mr. Melvin Taylor. Thank you very much. Hey, Melvin.
Hey, Oscar, how's it going, man?
Is that you? Are you, in fact, Melvin Taylor, sir? How are you? Are you there? Are you there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Oh.
Yes, I am.
I'm glad to finally get the chance to talk to you. How have you been?
Oh, everything's been great. I've just been, doing some recording. Not touring a whole lot, but enough.
Yeah. So what are you working on right now?
Well, Oscar, as a musician, entertainer, performer, arranger, writer, producer, everything. I'm always working on music, even when I don't want to. My brain just won't stop.
24/7, huh?
That's right.
Wow, man. Just always. Are you working on a new album, or do you have anything specific planned, or are you just cranking out ideas to put together something later?
Yeah, just ideals. It's always about the ideals. You just get down as much stuff as you can, because eventually somewhere along the line you will be able to put it out, or I just want to be prepared.
Yeah, that's a great work ethic. I know how it is, because I know a lot of artists, they'll start writing stuff, and they're only writing because they have a project coming up, but they don't do anything else in between time. And then, if you have a writer's block, what are you going to do? You're stuck, so you might as well keep the roll going, right?
Absolutely. That's right.
Are you in Chicago right now?
Yes, I'm in Chicago as we speak. I was out in the D.C. area for a few years, and that's basically how the Free Taste of Guitar, Melvin Taylor's the double jazz album, Beyond the Burning Guitar, and the Taylor Made. That's how those CDs came about. I took a little time off. I said, some tours and runabouts. So I just took a few years off and just had downtime. So I said, okay, here's my chance to actually sit down and just put together what music like I want to put it together, and actually produce it, arrange it myself, and basically play all of the instruments on it, except for the keyboards. I had, keyboards come in. Some of the keyboard parts I did play, very little, but I had like Rick Jones, Bernie L. Anderson come in and do some keyboards and a little vocals, stuff like what Bernie L. Anderson did the keyboards, and the vocals on the Taylor Made on one song, so on one track, and basically that's exactly where I've been, man. Just putting music, cranking out music because I have the time to,
Right. Yeah, that's great. Well, it's good that you have an opportunity. There's a lot of freedom in just doing whatever you want to do when you want to do it and being able to put it out.
That's right. Yeah.
Because I noticed, your publicist sent me Beyond the Burning Guitar and Taylor Made, Taste of Sweet Guitar, and I've been wearing those out since I got them, and it's great stuff. And a lot of it is a lot more jazzy than what people know that you do. I mean, people always hear jazz in your playing, but it's a little bit more jazzy than usual. What was the thinking behind that?
Well, that was basically just to show my fans or the public or people that just thought, well, he's a blues player. No, I'm not. I'm more than just a blues player. I mean, don't get me wrong. Blues is my roots. That's where I came from. I always loved it. But, man, do you know how many other different avenues I've, just took off in so many other directions, from the blues. And, it's been really good to me, and it feels great to be able to be versatile and to do all of the things that I always wanted to do and imagined doing. So now I'm actually doing it. I'm living it. Oh, something else I want to let you know as well. I was just in the Ukraine for the Master Jam guitar series, and it was excellent. I just got a few awards and diplomas and plaques and stuff for audience favorite performer. So it's just been good, man. It's really been good.
Wow, that is very cool. In the Ukraine, huh?
Yeah, I was over in Odessa.
Wow, lots of blues fans there, huh?
Yeah, blues and jazz fans. And also, I did I think it was a year before, I did a 5-city tour in Kiev.
Oh my gosh!
And the Ukraine as well, in different areas.
How's your Russian? Are you keeping up with it?
No, I'm terrible, man.
Yeah, I know. That's Vidanya. Yeah, that's all I got. That's all I got. Well, tell me, Well, I'm curious. I'm curious because you got me thinking, because I wrestle with this myself as a guitar player, with the idea that are you at all concerned with what your fans want to hear, or are you just going to go with your muse, wherever you're feeling in that moment?
Well, for so many years, Oscar, I've always felt out my audience. I would feel them out. And really, man, I always cared about what they felt, because I need the feedback from them, the energy that they give me. I like to be able to give it back. I feed off of that. But now, at the same time, however, I am going to play what I play and how I play, the way that I play. But I do need support.
Yeah. Are you concerned at all with commerciality in blues?
Yes and no. I guess. Well, I'll say it like this: there's always room for improvement in whatever you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And so it just so happens to be that blues music, it's like a tree or plant or anything else. If you don't water it, nourish it, and it'll die.
Right. That's true. Yeah, because I'm surrounded by blues people most of the time, and I meet a lot of publicists and labels, and coming up through blues myself. I grew up in Chicago and had my own blues bands here, and there's always that kind of problem with wanting to be an artist, wanting to sell as many records as possible.
Okay.
And sometimes they don't go together. I mean, there's a fan base that likes their blues a certain way. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean there.
What can you say? I mean, those guys are paying the bills, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Oscar, of my 45 years, that's right, 45 years of playing music, guitar, I've seen it all, man. I've run into them all. I've seen it all, probably heard it all. I get around the critics, the purists, the blues purists, and man, they just dog me. Well, it's not really blues he's playing. It's not, So I've heard it all. Then I get around some, man, I love what you're doing with the blues. So, hey, man, different strokes for different folks. Can't please all the people all the time. You just have to do what you do and hope that something catches on or sticks. Okay?
You know what? That is the correct answer, sir. Because when it's all said and done, you have to be happy. You have to be happy, and you have to follow your heart and what your art is telling you to do.
Oscar, I can't play sad. That's the only way I can play my guitar is I have to enjoy it. Now, I don't, I wouldn't want somebody to sit there with a gun in my hand and force me to play. That would be fun.
Yeah. Well, because on when you were with Evidence, you had a producer, and he kind of, he produced the record, and it's a great record, and I remember getting tons of press and everything, and that has a different sound or feel. It was a little bit more commercial, but great, and that's different than what we hear you live at Rosa's or on your later stuff. So that's why I brought it up, because I feel like now you're being yourself, and it's your honest expression. People tell me that all the time, Oscar.
Pardon? I mean, not meaning to cut you off, brother, but listen. Folks will come up to me and tell me, man, I don't know who those producers or those people. You get rid of them. They fire. They will come up to me and just say stuff like that. And, I guess all of us, we have a certain something inside of us that drives us. And unless we tap into that, then you're just basically doing what someone else wants you to do. Or you're along for the ride. Follow me?
I follow you.
Okay.
But I want to play this song right here, because on this song you are definitely not along for the ride. It's one of my favorite songs. It's called Depression Blues from the album Melvin Taylor and the Slack Band.
Different living in a depression, hoping that things will get better. I work hard every single day. It's like working without no pay. It's so hard trying to survive when you're barely staying alive. It's so hard trying to survive when you're barely staying alive. Just to hear the people talking, it'll bring tears to your eyes. Hoping that things will get better. I'm living in a depression, hoping that things will get better, yeah. I work hard every single day. It's like working without no pay. It's so hard trying to survive when you're barely staying alive. It's so hard trying to survive when you're barely staying alive. And just to hear the people talking, yeah, it'll bring tears to your eyes.
Certainly dig it. Melvin Taylor. Yes. Well, like I told you before you got on the air, I have been checking you out at Rose's since the late 80s. You still there?
I'm still here, Oscar.
Yeah,
yes, I am.
I remember I was in a play at the time I'm an actor, and I was doing a play at the time playing around town. I was playing guitar and acting, and this drummer who was in the show says, "Man, you got to check out Melvin Taylor, man. You got to come down to Rose's, man." And I tell you, ever since then, I've just been a fan, long-time fan. And then I moved to L.A., but whenever I would come back to Chicago, I'd always come check out your shows, man. And they're very inspiring. Very inspiring. Where does the guitar start for you? When you were coming up, when did it all begin?
Well, I would have to say at the age of 5 or 6 years old, my mother's twin brother played guitar. Floyd Vaughn was his name. And he had, a few guitars around, and they would hook up like, they wasn't professionals or anything. They all worked day jobs. So for them, it was just hobby and something to do and for fun. So on weekends, they would all get together and, take out their guitars and get their harmonicas and sit around and just play music, man, play blues and all the stuff. So I would watch everybody play these things, and I'll go, man, I can do that. You know, I like that. There's something that I think I want to do. And so they would put the guitar down. When they sat the guitar down, I would pick it up. And I would just start doing whatever they were doing. But for the longest time, no one knew I could play. Because I would never let anybody see me play. So this one weekend, I just took off. I said, man, I'm going to play tonight. And they sat around and got their little beer bottles and their little stuff and sitting around with their little drinks and took out the instruments and their harmonicas, hooked everything up. And I just slid right up in between them. Took the guitar and started playing. And boy, they just all fell out.
I didn't know you could play. What you doing with that guitar?
That's right.
That's great.
And that was it, man. From that point on, I knew. I said, man, this is who I am.
Wow, that's great. Now, were there any specific people that you listened to kind of develop your style?
Well, I listened to whatever my folks played at home. Jimmy Reed, Muddy Waters, Howlin' Wolf, Elmore James, Leonard Hopkins, but mostly Delta blues, lots of Delta blues. Then we got up to Little Milton Campbell. Then later on, B.B. King, some of his stuff, Albert King. We just kept moving on up the line. Then all of a sudden, one day, my uncle brought home a double Jimi Hendrix album, Experience, live or some stuff. And I don't know, I was listening. I'm going, man, who is this guy? So I was listening to his guitar and this wah-wah pedal and all this crazy feedback and this way out stuff. I said, man, I can do that. Who knows was the song. And so I started playing that, and oh man, I would just have a crowd. I would have a crowd around me when I hooked that thing up on the back porch, and I'm playing. So the police come and shut me down, make me stop. Hey, it's too loud. Yeah, you can't do that. Disturbing the peace. So
wow.
That's how it all happened, man. That's how it happened. That's how it started.
Do you think you were natural at it, or did you feel like this was it a struggle at any point?
No, I would have to say, honestly, man, it's a gift. Because there's no way, you know, excuse my language, in hell, I could have figured all that out. No, man, it's a gift. Because from the first time I put my hands on the guitar, I could play it. So that was a gift. You don't just, it just doesn't happen. It was a gift. Really, honestly.
Well, it definitely is. Now, I was doing some research, and you were playing like on Maxwell Street in Chicago, and I don't want to mess up the story because you know the story because you were there, but apparently Pine Top Perkins saw you and enlisted you to join him on tour.
Well, actually, how the story goes is that at 14 years old, I think it was. Yeah, I was 13 or 14, or turning 14. The guys would go out on the marketplace, Maxwell Street, where all the markets were and all the open air and everybody out there. So some guys would drop a cord, an extension cord, electric cord from the window, power cord. We plug into that, and everybody stood around and plug in and start playing, start wailing. So I guess from that, people got to know me, man. They were, oh man, I saw this kid down on Maxwell Street. This kid, oh man, this guy can go. So I became, I was known from that, from those times of playing outside in the open air. So this guy, big-eyed Willie Smith, played drums with Pine Top for many years. They were always Muddy Waters before that. They were Muddy Waters band. Mm-hmm. So they branched off on their own, and they said, man, we need a guitar player. Are you still there?
Yep.
Okay, they said, we need a guitar player. And they came and found me, man. I was in the backyard of my house, cleaning up stuff around the house, and all of a sudden, I see two hands, a pair of knuckles, come up over the fence. Hey, are you Melvin Taylor? I said, yes, I am. Hey, how's it going there? Oh, I'm Willie Smith, and then Pine Top comes out. He looks over the fence, too, so I'm like, man, who are these guys? A big, long blue van. I thought it was the military. Coming to get me, man, to take me to the army or something. I didn't know. So you heard those stories about the military, the big green, blue, or whatever it pulls up and say, hey, man, come on. So I said, yes. Well, we got some tours coming up, and we were Muddy Waters band, but now we're kind of branching off on our own, which was a legendary blues band. Mm-hmm. So all of a sudden, these guys well, we get these tours lined up, and we need a guitar player. So he started showing me the tour dates and stuff over the fence with the paper and everything. So I said, hold on a second, hold on. I threw out the shovel and the broom and the garbage pail and ran downstairs and started packing up my shopping bags. Because after I didn't have luggage. So I said, yeah, hold on. He said, no, you can't go to the airport like that.
Shopping bags. Man, that's no way to travel.
Yeah, so I mean that's how that came to be. And man, I had fun with those guys, man. Pine Top, God rest his soul, I loved him. He was just a character, man. The man was so full of life, all of them.
Yeah. Pine Top. I met Pine Top. He's a very nice gentleman. I remember him back in the day when I was in Chicago, and he was just always great. And I learned so much just watching him and listening to him play. How did that take you to the next level as a player, from playing Maxwell Street to touring? What does that do to you?
Well, it gave me education and knowledge on about the road, about the touring, being around different audiences. See, the European audience was so different for me, and it was almost like a culture shock to be overseas for 2 months. A young man, 20-some years old, had never been anywhere but to Mississippi and back to Chicago. So that just, man, that really turned things around for me, because soon after I got back, all of a sudden all these promoters and everyone wanted me to come back by myself. This is, man, well, you got your own band back home, but man, you can come back by your. Man, that was just the beginning of a whole new thing there. I just went back every year, sometimes twice a year, with my own band, and did basically every country.
Wow.
So
that's great.
With that thing, you know.
And you got signed soon after that, right?
Yeah, I got signed to Isabelle. It was Isabelle, good friend of mine, Didier Tricard, a Frenchman, and he signed me to his label, and I did 2 for him. Yeah, I did 2 for him. Blues on the Run, and Melvin Taylor, I'll Play the Blues for You. Melvin Taylor Plays the Blues for You. That was that one. They were actually physical albums then, vinyl.
The good old days. Yeah, I own the CDs of those, and they're great recordings. People in Radio Land, if you want to check Melvin Taylor out, he's got this great website. It's got amazing stuff. It's melvintaylormusic.com. It's got everything you've ever wanted to know about Melvin Taylor. You can order any of his CDs, his dates, find out where he's playing, videos. There's this cool video of you with this golden Stratocaster that I love.
Oh, I got that one. I'm playing that one now.
Oh yeah, that's the one with the gold finish on it. That is a beautiful guitar.
That's an old baby too. It's one of my old babies, you know.
Well, cool.
Yeah.
Well, I want to play some more music from the archives of Melvin Taylor, and then I'm going to do a little commercial, and then when we come back, I want to talk about your gear, because I have some deeply personal questions to ask you about your gear. Because I just remember seeing you at Roses and going, man, the tone for days. Anyway, this track is the title track from the album Rendezvous with the Blues.
Since you've been gone, I got no one. Since you've been gone, Since you've been gone, I've still got no one. Since you've been gone, my nights are too long. Well, I can run high, but ain't no use. 'Cause all I've got is this rendezvous with the blues. Well, I can run high, there ain't no use. 'Cause all I've got is this rendezvous with the blues. Rendezvous with the blues.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is how you use a wah-wah pedal. I'm just saying, that's how you do it. True Tone Music is a virtual candy store for guitarists and bass players. They're world famous for having the best selection of new and used and vintage guitars in the Los Angeles area. Located at 714 Santa Monica Boulevard in the city of Santa Monica, True Tone Music offers the widest selection of exceptionally high-quality guitars and basses. They stock name brands like Fender, Gibson, Guild, Epiphone, Gretsch, and much, much more. It's where the top names in the music industry shop for guitars, basses, amps, boutique pedals, and accessories. Whether you want to buy, sell, trade, get guitar lessons or repairs, True Tone Music super cool staff is there to make your music come to life. They'll also match any online price and back it up with top-notch customer service and support. Visit them online at truetonemusic.com or call 310-393-8232. That's 310-393-8232. Ask for Ken. Tell him Oscar sent you. Get yourself a wah-wah, because you're going to need it. Yes. Hey, Melvin. I really enjoyed that track. You still there? Hey, Melvin, you there?
I'm still here, Oscar.
Well, so tell me something, man. I would go to Rose's through late 80s, all through the 90s, up till now, up until about 3 years. I haven't been in Chicago in about 3 years, but you just get some great sounds. Could you tell me what, I know your gear has changed over the years, but what are you using right now?
Well, Oscar, I've been asked that question so much, man. I mean, by basically everybody. Pretty much anybody ever run across me and played guitar, or even folks didn't play guitar. They want to know, how do you get those tones, those sounds? That sort of grew on me. Or shall I just say, those are things that I do to amplifiers and guitars. I sort of modify my own stuff. It's sort of hard to go into or to get into because some of them are my secrets. And, guys will call me from guitar companies. They want to design a guitar, want to build a guitar So they try to trick me out of my information or my secrets or whatever I used to jack the guitars and amps up. I modify that stuff, man. I might take a component and switch it over and put it anywhere, or different types of wiring, shielding. It's just so many different combinations and things you can do to guitars and amplifiers. You sort of have to experiment with it and learn it and grow with it to get certain tones, because you can't just go to the music store and go buy an amplifier and a guitar and expect for it to sound like that, because it's just not going to happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I just remember I have this image of you. I would come into Rose's, and you have 2 PV combo amps wired together with a wah-wah.
Yeah, that's right.
And then you had your Ibanez, I think it's a SA100. Is that the one?
And the SA200.
SA200.
Well, with Pine Top. Yeah.
And you just, those two that simple ingredient with a wah, those 2 amps, and these weren't like high-end PV amps.
They were cheap things, man.
They were what?
They were little cheap amps.
I know. That's what it's blowing my mind, because I'm like going, man, those little things. He's got these 2 little, practice. They're not practice amps, but they're like mid-range. I think like what are they? 112 or 110 combos each?
Well, 112.
Yeah. Now it wasn't. Which model were those at the time?
It was the Bandit 65.
See, that's what I mean. I would go, what the, and and you've got all these other people, they're buying like $5,000 hand-wired boutique made in the dude's basement, amps, yep. and they're not sounding anywhere as good as you, but they're spending all this money. They're doing all this stuff, this hand-wired by an Egyptian, half Chinese, Japanese, African, with wearing the right gloves and the tone pots and it's just like, man, it's all in the hands.
That's right. You got it. You just said it. And Oscar, folks over the years, they would laugh at me. I would come walking in with this little amp and this guitar, and so they would laugh at me. Hey man, where you going? To rehearsal? I said, yeah, okay, hold on a second. I plugged that son of a gun up and let it go, man. I'll blow everybody out of it. They go, man, what do you got in those things, man?
Now, did you modify those amps?
Modified them. Yeah.
Oh, okay, I see. That's what's going on with there. Because I think my first amp was a PV Decade. Do you remember that amp?
I remember that one. Yeah.
It's a little practice amp, PV made, solid state. And I'll tell you, not I sucked. I'm pretty good now, but I sucked then, and that thing was horrible.
I know, it was awful, man. You just couldn't get a good, clean tone out of it to save your life.
I know, and it was really sterile. And it's a good starter amp, but that was just a horrible sound. I have fond memories, but that's what I would always. It wasn't the same model, but that's what I would always think of. I'm like, man, those early, like those 70s cheap PV amps. Oh God! But some people like them, and you seem to just kick butt with those amps.
I did. Well, Oscar, I sort of had to take anything I had and make it work. God forbid, man. I had no money. I had nothing. I had to build everything. I had to just start from scratch with everything. The guitars, the pickups, the wire, everything, man. I just had to actually create or invent me some equipment, some stuff that I could use. But everybody else had the money to go buy all these things, and I didn't have it. All the kids would come back with new guitars and amps. I got to go somewhere, man, and find a neck and match it up with the body and scrape it down and paint it and sand. Man, I'm telling you, I just caught it.
Yeah. Well, I remember what I really dug about your playing and your sound was, I know you kind of went back and forth between your Ibanez semi-hollow and Strats, and
yeah.
it was just, but you just seem to have this magic with the Ibanez.
Oh yeah, well the Ibanez is basically for me, when I got that thing, I had tried so many other different brands. Don't want to call any names because I don't want to down anybody or hurt anybody, but or knock anybody's guitars. But for me, once I bought the Ibanez SA100, man, you wouldn't believe I had like 20 other. I'd sold them all. I gave all the rest of that stuff away. I didn't want it anymore because the Ibanez for me was so balanced. It was just there.
Yeah, and yeah, I've played. Actually, I got one of those because of you.
Cool.
I know you don't remember this, but I remember pulling you aside in the bar and go, man, what model is that, man? I want to get one too, man. I got to play one of those, man. Where can I get one? And then, of course, that's like a 70s version of, there's people out there in, guitar land, they know that Ibanez, there's Ibanez guitars, and then there's vintage Ibanez sites where they collect 70s era hollow bodies and stuff like that. And that's, what year is that one that you have?
The one I got, that one is 1980.
Wow. Yeah. That's the style. 'Cause yours has some of those versions have the Mickey Mouse ears for the cutaway, and yours doesn't. Yours has got a sharper, horn on it on both sides.
Yeah.
And you rewired the pickups. You told me that you had swapped out the pickups and you had done something to them.
Right. Pickup spots, the whole shebang. It had just been modified. I had just, even the French, everything. I had to get it just right. It had to do what I wanted it to do, whenever I wanted it to do it. Because to reach for something and it's not there, man, that can be disappointing.
Yeah, that's true. What exactly did you just wire your own pickups, or did you just go pick out some models that pre-existed and find the right combination?
Are you trying to get me to tell my secrets, Oscar?
Yes, I do. Well, it's just me and you, man. No one else is listening. It's just me and you. You can tell me.
No. The thing is that I would sort of design my own pickups. That's what I would do, man. I would take them in and mix and match and find different color wiring. The whole, it's technical. It's technical.
Wow. Your sound is great, and I think that you could pretty much play a cigar guitar and it would sound really good, with rubber bands, cigar box.
Rubber bands. I did that when I was a kid. Funny you say that, because I did that, man. I wanted a guitar so bad. I couldn't afford one. Actually, it wasn't the rubber bands. It was fish string.
Oh, wow. Okay. For fishing.
The nylon.
Yeah. And that's how you started.
Yeah, man. And I don't know how I got tones out of that thing, but I actually did. And it sounded pretty good to me then at the time.
Wow, that's great. Well, you know what? We're almost at the end of the show, but I wanted to get this in because it's really important to me. Where does the jazz come into your playing?
Well, the jazz comes into my playing. I would have to say, man, I've always been in Wes Montgomery. I loved him. He was just, to me, he was a guitar god, man, a genius. The guy, he just had something. It was magic. And I listened to that stuff, and man, it's like guitar language. It spoke to me.
Yeah, he's one of my favorites as well. He just had this certain feel, tone, and
That's
everything.
Right.
Melvin Taylor, thank you so much for coming on the show. I really, really appreciate it. It's an honor. Like I said, I am not blowing smoke. I've been a fan for many years. I stole licks from you. I stole your set list. I learned a lot from you, and I really appreciate you existing in the universe.
Well, Oscar, you don't have to steal anymore. We'll send you some stuff.
Well, thanks a lot, man. I'll see you next time. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Melvin Taylor. Thank you for coming on the show, Mr. Melvin Taylor. It's an honor. I'm all choked up. It's an honor. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was so cool. That's our show. That's our show. It's our show. Unfortunately, we have to end. I'd like to thank our guest, Melvin Taylor. Set mind to purpose and visit him at melvintaylormusic.com and purchase every piece of music he has ever written. We'd also like to thank our sponsors, Music Connection Magazine. Visit them at musicconnectionmagazine.com. Also, True Tone Music, truetonemusic.com. And last but not least, Mojave Ampworks. Visit the Oasis of Tone at mojaveampworks.com. Want to become a sponsor? Email me at oscarsguitarshop@gmail.com. Tune in next week when our guest will be Dixie Dregs and Deep Purple guitarist Steve Morse. Take care of yourselves. Be nice to each other. See you next week. Same bat time, same bat channel.
I can't make it no longer.